For decades, international institutions have relied on a strict mathematical baseline to define extreme global poverty, anyone surviving on less than $1.90 a day. But applying that single metric to India reveals a glaring macroeconomic paradox. The country generates undeniable, surging gross domestic product, yet it still sustains massive, entrenched populations living in extreme deprivation. Even as the overall percentage of citizens below the poverty line has dropped, the sheer scale of the demographic means the absolute numbers remain staggering, amounting to roughly 234 million globally poor individuals. Judging human welfare strictly by a daily dollar cutoff ignores the lived reality on the ground, missing the physical and social barriers that prevent upward mobility. Poverty acts as a highly efficient, self-sustaining machine, locking successive generations of families into a rigid economic loop. To accurately analyze the Indian economy, we have to abandon simple income definitions and deconstruct this machine piece by piece. Eradicating this level of poverty requires us to map and then dismantle a very precise socioeconomic feedback loop. This diagram outlines that system. Economists call it the vicious cycle of poverty. The engine starts here, fueled by a systemic deficit in education and skills. Without that human capital, the labor force is pushed directly into the next phase, unemployment. The National Statistical Office defines unemployment through specific criteria. An individual must be capable of work and actively seeking a position, yet remain without an income-generating role. Western economic models typically view unemployment as cyclical, a fluctuating curve where job losses match brief market recessions and recover when businesses expand. In India, that cyclical fluctuation barely registers. The issue is a heavy, static weight. Instead, the economy struggles with a disguised unemployment. 5 people might work a small agricultural plot that actually only requires 2. The extra hands add exactly 0 to the total crop yield. For landless laborers, this is compounded by seasonal unemployment, where the natural gaps between planting and harvesting leave workers idle for months. But the tightest bottleneck is structural unemployment. Even when modern industries have jobs available, there is a total mismatch between the specific skills those roles demand and the capabilities of the uneducated applicants. India's labor crisis is an ongoing structural engineering failure that perfectly supplies the next phase of the poverty loop. Returning to our flowchart, structural unemployment ensures the next outcome, zero income generation. Following the downward arrows, a total lack of income guarantees an inability to secure basic human necessities. To solve this, the Indian government first had to determine exactly how to measure that inability across 1 billion people. Early models were strictly biological, basing poverty lines entirely on minimum daily calories, 2,100 for urban, 2,400 for rural. Later committees expanded this baseline. They shifted to measuring minimum monthly consumption expenditure, factoring in the real costs of healthcare and education. Applying that expanded criteria, the Rangarajan report estimated that nearly 30% of the country was trapped below the threshold in 2011 to 2012. Yet tracking calories and minimum cash flow still failed to capture the structural reality. Earning slightly above the poverty line means nothing if your local area lacks a functioning school or clean drinking water. This required a completely different diagnostic tool. The United Nations Development Program and Oxford University developed the Multidimensional Poverty Index. This index maps the actual conditions of daily life. It divides human welfare into 3 core categories: health, education, and standard of living. Those categories are then rigorously tracked across 10 distinct indicators, ranging from child mortality to the quality of cooking fuel. Upgrading from simple calorie counting to the Multidimensional Poverty Index gave the government the precise data needed to map the true, multifaceted nature of the trap. Zooming out on our chart, the mechanism is complete. Multidimensional deprivation ensures a lack of education and skills, which drives structural unemployment, resulting in zero income, keeping the cycle in motion. Once the machine is fully mapped, the state's job is to figure out how to stop the gears from turning. The government deploys 3 distinct approaches. The first relies on broad GDP growth, operating on the assumption that rapid macroeconomic expansion will eventually reach the lowest income brackets. But waiting for wealth to trickle down is too slow. The second approach uses targeted poverty alleviation programs explicitly designed to sever the link between a lack of education and unemployment. State initiatives like the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya scheme and the Skill India mission bypass general education entirely. They inject specific, marketable trade skills directly into the rural labor force. The third approach strikes the bottom of the cycle. Through minimum needs fulfillment, the state steps in to directly subsidize the baseline standard of living. By supplying clean cooking fuel through the Ujjwala 2.0 program, the government forcibly improves one of the key multidimensional metrics for millions of households. Similarly, the Rural Housing Scheme aims to construct nearly 30 million robust homes, actively eliminating the housing deprivation metric. Rather than pushing one overarching policy, these three approaches act as simultaneous, coordinated strikes, targeting distinct links in the chain. Eradicating extreme deprivation requires precise, active engineering. Until every node of this socioeconomic feedback loop is dismantled, the mechanism will continue to function, capturing the next